So I have some bulbs here that technically should have been planted several months ago in the fall, and plants are not going by the months on the calendar. They're going to go by soil temperatures. So as long as certain things get in the ground before the temperatures drop for long enough that the plant would recognize it, technically it still thinks it's fall. I have these bulbs. Some of them were forgotten about and some of them I just haven't had time to get to. So before I get to the bulbs, I do need to swap a couple things around. I need to take this lantana and move it out of the way because it ended up being a bigger variety than I planned for right here. So the first thing I need to do is get that out of the way. Okay. So when you're to the point that there's just a couple roots kind of hanging on, I just go in and prune those off because there's no reason. You don't have to get every root. As long as you can try to make it out to the drip line, and the drip line is where the leaves begin and end, then it's usually enough. Even though I cut this back, I'm comfortable being very aggressive with it this time of year. If it were in the warm season, I would not be this comfortable doing this. Or we are in the cool season. We've got a cold front coming. Within hours, it's supposed to start raining. So I'm racing against the actual storms coming right now. This needed to come out anyway. I'm not moving this because of the bulbs. It just needed to come out because it's too big for that bed. So this is a mixture of bulbs that I've just gotten from different places. Some of them are through the mail, some of them are from Lowe's, some of them are from a garden center. They might be leftovers from another job, but needless to say, I want to get them in the ground. I'm not going to wait a whole year. This is probably the last opportunity that I'll have to get them in here before our biggest cold front of the year. Let's see, I think I'm going to go for right around here. That's what I'm going to go for. I don't know how many are in here. There's probably close to at least 20. And there's milkweed around here, and you know, it's all cut back right now, but if they keep returning, this would be a great thing to come up between, you know, the milkweed being gone in springtime when it has to be cut back. There's also some Texas tarragon, and there's of course this Mexican petunia, the tall one that goes crazy everywhere. I have to be really aggressive with keeping this one back, but I've also planted a few years ago, I put some wild garlic in here. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just a similar situation to this. I'm just gonna put like 2 handfuls in this. I'm not even gonna pay that much attention. I'm gonna try to put right side up, but I'm not going to kill myself trying to get them right side up. I know the flat side is the root side. I just planted them there and I'm covering them up. And I'm probably gonna do a couple more sections like that because they all can't fit in one hole. That was 2 handfuls, so I definitely don't wanna come closer to the front than that. I think I'm gonna go in another direction over here, maybe behind those coneflowers. I'm glad I saw how tall these get because I would not want them on the front edge like I was planning on doing with the irises. So I'm going to plant these right here. There's a native rock rose growing right here and some other irises that it can grow with it. I think it shouldn't be a problem because they come at different times. The ornamental fountain grass right here, that purple one, down the road may become an issue, but it is kind of small right now. So I'm going to take my chances. If I find that these did really good and I'm going to want to preserve them for the following year, I will probably dig them up and move them to places that I know they'll be better protected. But for now, it's just a matter of getting them in the ground. And I'm gonna put these right here. I'm just gonna do another big hole and then I'm gonna dump a couple handfuls in them. So like I said, if I can see that they're upside down and I can reach it, I will flip it, but I'm not gonna really try that hard. And I'll leave just enough in here to do another grouping, but I don't know if these are too close together. I don't know if these need a chill to come up good or what, but now I'm gonna go to the other end of the garden to do the rest. Now there used to be a coneflower over here and I wanna make sure that I don't go in front of it because I think if there's some iris here, I feel like if I plant them kind of close to the iris, they're safe because they get about the same height. So that's the lines that everything should kind of be close to. Now I'm not able to dig this hole as deep as the others because there's some other mature plants going on here, like perennial wise, that I don't want to disrupt too much, but I think it's enough to just put these in. I still think I have some left over. So I still have some babies, these others left over. I'm tempted to put them in a pot or something, but I don't want to do that. Maybe I'll just put them on the other side of the yard. Okay, so I have those. Those were the alums. Now I'm going to use the hole where I just pulled up a lantana to put these irises. So I'm going to just put these. And I've never really done this before. So like this, like just kind of shoved them in the ground wherever they fall and just see what happens there. Because to me, it's better than keeping them in the bag. Doing this right here is better than keeping them in the bag. Oh, some other things that I've got here. I've got some bachelor button seeds. After I get some mulching, I may sprinkle a few of these around too for fun. Okay, so I've got these other irises from mail order. I think they might be a year old. They are the purple tall Dutch irises. It says to plant 4 inches deep, 3 to 4 inches apart. I'm just gonna dig a hole and throw them in because these do not feel like they're in great condition. They're a little on the dry side, so I don't mind these being closer to the front a little bit. It's so really soggy over here. Now I won't be able to plant these very deep because for some reason it's really low right here, but I'm going to put mulch on top of this too. Hopefully I have enough mulch to do all these things that I'm saying. So what I mean by these bulbs feeling a little dry is, you can hear them probably, but let me grab a few to show up close. Okay, so they've obviously been forgotten about too long that their outer shell became like onions. If they come up, they'll probably be really small. I do feel some life is in there still. So we'll see. They just might be really small. They might be too small to make blooms this year. I don't know. I've never really been in this position. I don't know how this pack got overlooked for so long, but I think I'm gonna need a little bit bigger of an area just in case. I'm gonna plan on them actually coming up. Now, how I was taking the time to stand them upright, if you can't do that or if you're not sure which way, it's not the end of the world. The stems they'll find their way. They'll find their way. They'll find their way to the upright position, so you don't have to stress too much about which way they go. Some plants are really picky about that, but I do not think irises are. Lowe's or Home Depot, they weren't the ones from Sam's, so I feel like I should make note of them just in case they're better or something. I do know a little section I can put these in. I'll come back to those. These bulbs are left over from early spring. I was supposed to put these. These are called summer trumpets, and I ordered them online. I've never grown them before, but they still feel like they're in really good condition considering I believe they're over a year old. They were in the same place that those irises are, and look at that. They're nice and firm. They have a little bit of papery shell, but they're still very viable. I can tell they're very viable. And I know this is the wrong time of year to plant them, but they're gonna be better off in the ground than out of the ground. So I'm just gonna put those. It says that they like a little bit of shade. I'm just gonna fill in under this ligustrum right here. If you want to see the outcome, you're going to need to subscribe because I'm just not going to be able to wait that long before posting the video. But everything that I do and everything that you see me do in videos, I plan on constantly, checking in on and giving updates. So even if a video title doesn't specifically name everything that I update in it, because most of the time when I'm in a garden, I might tackle 10 projects in that one visit and I record the whole thing, and whatever I'm doing in that garden will generally be touched on. So that's how, if you subscribe or follow along, it's how you'll, be able to see the progress of these types of things. So you can learn the outcomes of projects just like this. Okay, this is all the packets I've emptied here. This is what I haven't planted yet. Make sure there's nothing in here. Waiting to be planted, nothing here. These are still waiting to be planted. And then these alums here I need to plant. These bachelor buttons. Okay, and then these alums. That's where I ordered some of the bulbs. I just remembered there's a handful of the ones that came in this box in my car that I need to go get and put them in the ground too. When I went to my car to find those bulbs, I also found a lot of other stuff that needs to get in the ground before this cold snap. And I'm just kind of plopping them in wherever because I didn't get to the place where I thought I might want these. And there's a couple things that I'm going to put in the ground that I've never grown before. It's called curry. I've never grown it. It's just an interesting looking plant that I picked up, and I'm going to I might just plant it on top of where I put some bulbs. It's kind of like a marker because I don't think the plant gets very tall, and it's called curry plant. It's only good down to 30. Oh, it gets 15 inches tall and 30 inches wide. So you get back to the bulb so I can keep all that stuff together. Okay, so here's the rest of the bulbs that were from that box. and they're still in great condition because I received them. They should still be in the ground, but considering how the other ones were, and these, since I know these are good, I think I might spread these out a tiny bit or save them for another part of the yard. I don't know, I'll put a few on this side at least. I definitely don't want them as far back as the alums because they'll get overtaken if they do happen to all grow. The alums get 30 inches and these irises are a lot more delicate growers than those. I'm just breaking off a bunch of extra growth around the bed so when I go to put in mulch, I have space. It's mainly these Mexican petunias like right here. These do not need to be left on. Those have no problem taking care of themselves. It is getting darker by the minute. I need to hustle these, get these in the ground. This back here a little bit, and it's raining. It's already raining. So I need to find a place. I don't know if I'm gonna get my mulch out. And I don't want my seeds to get wet. All of these are full of seeds. Ah. Now I am coming back with some nasturtiums in my hand, just because I want to get them in the ground before the rain. And then I'm also going to, normally I soak these, but I don't have time this year. So especially since the rain's already here. Oh, there's the packet of seeds I was looking for. Now it's raining and I'm just gonna try to get some of these bachelor buttons in. And I am being very messy with these. I wasn't careful at all in how I threw them. I'm just trying to get as many as I can in the garden. Oh, let's see if I can get this in the ground. So the rain chance only goes up over the next 24 hours. So the ground won't be dry enough for me to work again anytime soon. So that's another reason why I'm trying to get as much as I can in here. I will just need to put my sprinkler on a rain delay until the ground dries out so I can fix my the cut that I did in it. Okay, so of course, once I got all my seeds up, the rain nearly stops. That's not even enough to water everything in. What just happened, that little sprinkle, boy, that's a big misconception. I need to do a whole video about that. You see how this bag, it's already ripped open. Okay, so I just need to put a little bit around the plants I planted. Okay, that was more than I needed right there. And it's mainly because I disturbed the soil and I don't want to use pre-emergent. So I am, this is my only weed suppressant at the moment. I really only like to use pre-emergent. I try to just use it one time a year if I need to use it. And I just try to use all the other organic methods between those because I feel like that is the best strategy if you like to use integrated weed management strategy that I've ran and raced to put everything up and drag a bag of mulch over here that was half ripped open. Now the sun's coming out. I'm going to, okay, I'm wrong. It's starting to rain again. The weather can't decide what it wants to do. That's what it is. It just can't decide. There's a few more plants that I would like to get into the ground that are not over here right now. I don't know if I didn't even get all these snapdragons planted yet. There's a couple more snapdragons. Boy, using the big shovel is really exhausting compared to the little one that I use. It's like a little 2-foot shovel with a 2-foot wooden handle. It's super light and the blade's about half of this width, but it's just as efficient for planting these pint-size plants. However, I just don't have it with me at the moment, so I'm using these. I think that's all. I believe that's all of the transplants that almost got forgotten. I think they're on the ground now. So now I have a little bit of time to maybe get the rest of the mulch and maybe cut back a few more things. But I think it's wet and muddy now. Let's see. I really would love to get another bag of mulch over here. I mean, I just kind of dumped it in a few places, but these irises, all these old leaves are ready to go away because the new ones are emerging. Once they start yellowing and you see the new growth coming, and they're like brown on the edges, it's okay to go ahead and remove them because they're already transferring the energy to making the new growth. But you don't want to remove them before that point because that's the energy it needs for blooming. And sometimes when they're ready, you can just pull them off. Sometimes they'll just come off easy. And when they come off easy, that's another sign that it's a good time. Because normally if you were to do this and they weren't ready, the whole plant would come up. That's how strong of the leaves are. So I'm just gonna chop these up over here. And then 2 years ago, I decided to start spreading them out, digging them up and just kind of sprinkling them throughout the garden because I thought it would be a nice, these conditions are better than where they were. They were just literally planted like against the house just to be in the ground. They weren't even in a bed. Anyway, I just divided that clump up and spread them throughout the garden, and they come up at the perfect time. They disappear in the heat of the summer when all the perennials are filled in, and just as the perennials are starting to die back, here they are. They're coming up and they're putting on their show. But they have a nice silvery foliage and they are freeze tolerant. They're fine down to like 20 degrees. They'll be fine. And if by chance they did take a hit from a freeze, they would be one of the first things to come back. This is some white salvia that was getting taken over by a lantana right there in front of it. I've been debating on whether or not to move it closer to the border because it could qualify as a border plant, and in some gardens it is. I'm just on the fence about it. So I think I'm gonna leave it here another year. I may divide it, I don't know, but I'm just removing the growth. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm taking out these big sticks and whatever comes with it, and I'm just gonna transplant these. And then that way I've got the best of both worlds. I'm leaving some here, and then some is getting, the ones that are gonna get moved to a new location are the ones that came up saying they're ready to go. Right next to these irises, and I'm going to get rid of these Mexican petunias because these are the ones that I'm pulling up right here. These are all the ones that get like 4 feet tall. They're really invasive, but they serve a purpose is what I do along the back edge of the garden. I let them come up and play peekaboo with the other big plants that don't fill in all the way. So they have a very limited use in my garden. It's really low over here. I need to bring some soil, but I'm just going to put all these clumps that I pulled up, I'm just going to stick them straight into the ground right there. Try to get rid of the stuff around it. I think these are some of those wild garlics that I planted several years ago. And this bed used to be much smaller, but let me finish planting these before I change the subject again. Okay, there we go. This bed used to be just as wide as those sunshine ligustrums. It actually was just, I don't know, maybe 5 feet out. And then when the sunshine ligustrums started growing, I realized, okay, my whole bed's gonna be sunshine ligustrums if I don't double the size. So I doubled the size once I realized how big these ligustrums have to be. And everything that's planted up here used to be back in between the sunshine ligustrums. But I wasn't prepared to commit to the level of maintenance required to keep them the manageable size among all my other perennials. So that's why they came out. A little piece of this curry plant just broke off. I've never grown this curry plant. I've never even heard of it. And it's not the culinary version of curry. It's just called curry plant. For whatever reason, they named it the same thing. I don't know. A little piece broke off, and this is the plant. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick it over here so we can see what happens. Nothing or something might happen, I don't know. But this is how you learn. That's how you learn. Let me pull this weed up. But anyway, we'll see what happens. And then I'm also going to cut off the top part just to increase the odds. There. Now, we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so since the rain paused for a little bit, I was able to go grab another bag of mulch and haul it over here. I can work a lot faster if I go get my little shovel. So I couldn't find my mini shovel, but I found my medium mini shovel. This is half the size of the other one and more than half the weight. So much easier for me to maneuver around. So this is in the middle of a great rain race. That's what I call this. This is when I'm racing the rain to do some last minute things in the garden. That's what this is. This is the rain race. I don't know why I do this to myself. Mosquitoes are starting to come out. This is horrible. So I've got a lot of Angelonia that has just been, it was left over from a job in the springtime job, Angelonia. It just kind of, it got put in a spot where it could be kept alive, but it didn't get put in the ground. Anyway, so I've got this Angelonia left over from a spring job. Don't ask me how. I'm cutting it back to just a couple inches so I can get it in the ground with the least stress possible. It is right before a big cool down. It's better than nothing. Is this the optimum way to plant Angelonia? No, it's not, but it's better than nothing. I don't even know what colors they are, so I'm just gonna stick them anywhere they can go and kind of go from there. I need to get that mulch down. Oh, this had a hole in the bottom. How nice. Okay. Now, I know this bed needs more mulch than this, but I'm focusing on the areas where I disturbed the dirt the most because that is where I disrupted the seed bank. And I'm just trying to keep that seed bank suppressed until I can get in here with more mulch. So that's mainly where I planted stuff. And here comes the rain again. Not sure if it's the real one this time. Mulch bags are great debris holders. So if you are laying mulch and you use the bag version, they are great for containing debris during the progress, along with other mulch bags. Okay, so see if we can get a picture of this before it rains too hard. Okay, there's the curry plant, the salvia, the snapdragons I tossed in, more of the curry plant. It's that beautiful contrasting thing. Bulbs are all planted among them. I just spread out the snapdragons just to random places. There's another curry plant. So I installed about a dozen annuals. I installed about four to five perennials and almost 100 bulbs. And I also divided a couple things and transplanted a couple lantanas, all in a very small time frame where I was racing the rain from coming. I had about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get all this done. It started raining right in the middle, and now the rain's coming, and I'm pretty sure this one is for good. GoPro, stop recording.